Captain Ray lived with his 8-year-old twins, Liam and Lily, on a quiet human colony moon far from Earth. Their home stood near a long forest line, where the wind always whispered through the tall silver trees. For years, Ray tried to forget the war he fought in, and he tried to give his children a calm life. Every night, he checked the doors, the windows, and the old plasma gun he kept locked away. He thought danger was far behind him now, but that night proved him wrong. It started with a strange rumble deep under the ground. The cups on the kitchen shelf shook, and the lights flickered as if something heavy had entered the moon's atmosphere. Ray rushed to the door, but Liam and Lily were faster. Before he could stop them, they pushed open the door and ran outside into the cold night air. "Liam, Lily, come back," Ray shouted, grabbing his jacket. But the children were already halfway down the hill, staring at the sky with amazement. A burning object streaked across the darkness, glowing bright orange before crashing into the forest with a deep, echoing boom. The shockwave made the air tremble, and for a moment, everything went silent, too silent. The twins looked at each other with wide eyes. "Papa, something fell," Lily whispered. Ray's instincts screamed danger, but he could not leave the mysterious crash uninvestigated. If it was hostile, he needed to protect his children. If it was innocent, he needed to understand what or who had arrived. He told the twins to stay behind him, and together, they moved toward the forest. The smell of burned metal and hot soil filled the air as they walked. A faint blue smoke drifted between the trees, and small glowing embers floated like fireflies. The forest was quiet, too quiet for comfort. Even the night creatures were hiding. When they reached the crash site, Ray stopped. A small escape pod, round and dented, lay broken in a shallow crater. Its metal skin was cracked open like an egg, and strange symbols glowed on its surface. The pod hissed softly, releasing steam and sparks. Ray tightened his grip on the emergency flashlight. Then Lily gasped. "Papa!" "Look," she whispered, pointing behind a large rock. Ray aimed the light and froze. There, half hidden in the shadows, was a creature he had never seen before. It was large, almost twice his height, and its body was round and heavy, like an oversized, soft giant. Its skin was pale blue with faint glowing patterns, and its 4 small eyes shimmered with fear instead of anger. The creature trembled as the light touched its face. It did not growl, it did not attack, it only backed away, clutching its arms to its chest like a scared child. Ray stepped in front of the twins. "Stay behind me," he said firmly, raising his flashlight like a weapon. But Liam took a tiny step to the side, curious instead of scared. The creature made a soft, sad sound, almost like a sob. It looked hurt, lonely, and desperate. For a long moment, both sides simply stared at each other. The alien expected fear, maybe anger, maybe violence, but the twins did something no one expected. Lily stepped forward gently and said in a soft voice, "I think you need a hug. Can we hug you?" The creature blinked, shocked. Its big round body trembled again. But this time it wasn't from fear. It lifted one hand slowly, as if asking permission to come closer. Ray felt his heart pound in confusion. He had seen many aliens in the war, but none looked as harmless or as heartbroken as this one. Liam took Lily's hand, and together they made a small step forward. Ray wanted to stop them, but something in the creature's eyes held him back. Those eyes were not the eyes of a monster. They were the eyes of someone who had been running for too long. Someone who needed help. The creature bent down a little, lowering its huge face toward the small children. Its breath was slow and shaky. Its glowing patterns flickered like weak lights. The twins opened their arms, ready to hug the stranger. But before the creature touched them, a loud humming sound filled the sky. Ray looked up sharply. A dark ship with red lights and sharp wings moved across the clouds like a silent predator. Its scanners flashed across the forest, shining bright beams over the crash site. The creature jerked back in terror. Ray grabbed the twins and pulled them close. Whoever this alien was, he was not alone. Someone was hunting him, and they had just arrived. Asterisk. The dark ship circled above the forest like a hungry shadow. Its red scanning light swept across the trees, lighting the leaves in sharp red flashes. Captain Ray instinctively pushed Liam and Lily behind him as the creature stumbled backward in fear. The alien's glowing patterns dimmed as if its body was curling into itself. Whatever was searching for him was not friendly. Ray could feel it. For a moment, no one spoke. Only the humming of the ship filled the night air, low and threatening. Then Ray took a slow breath and pointed his flashlight at the creature again. His voice was calm, but his hands trembled just a little. "Who is looking for you?" he asked. The creature flinched at the question. It opened its mouth, closed it again, then slowly formed a few broken English words. "Bad. Hunters want me back. Please help. Please." Its voice was soft, deep, and shaking like a scared drum. Ray felt something twist in his chest. Lily stepped forward, holding Ray's hand. "He is scared, Papa," she whispered. Ray knew. She was right, but fear was fear. A scared creature could still be dangerous, still. The alien's eyes were filled with pain, not rage. The ship above moved lower, and a small group of red lights appeared under it. Drones, silent machines that searched like hungry insects. Ray recognized them from the war. He cursed under his breath. "Not these things again," he murmured. The alien stumbled as if preparing to run, but Liam held out his small hand. "We won't hurt you," he said. The creature stared at the boy with wide, trembling eyes, then it slowly lowered itself onto one knee, making itself smaller, less threatening. Goro," the alien whispered, tapping his chest. "Me name." "Goro." Ray blinked at the sudden honesty. "Goro," he repeated quietly. It was a strange name, yet it felt gentle. "Why are they hunting you, Goro?" Goro hesitated, his eyes shifting to the sky where the scanner swept past. Finally, he lifted his hand and pointed to the broken pod behind them. "Escape from lab. Humans take me, hurt me, study me." His voice cracked as he spoke, and a glowing tear slid down his cheek. Lily gasped softly and hugged Ray's arm tighter. Ray felt his jaw clench. He knew human labs, classified ones. He knew what they did to creatures they found interesting. He had seen things during the war he wished he could forget. And now one of those victims was kneeling in front of his children, begging for help. Before he could respond, the drones flew closer, the sound sharp and metallic. Ray pulled everyone into the shadow of a large tree. He grabbed Goro's arm, surprised at how soft and warm the creature's skin felt. "Come on," Ray said quietly. "If they find you, it's over." Goro shook his head weakly. "No, hide." "They find me." "Always find." His body shook as if remembering countless chases. Ray stared into Goro's trembling eyes and made a decision he hadn't expected to make tonight. "Follow me," he said firmly. "I know a place they won't find you." The twins' eyes lit with hope. Goro hesitated, but the fear in the sky pushed him to move. Together they ran through the forest, stepping quietly over fallen branches and glowing embers from the crash. The drones whirred overhead, their red lights cutting the darkness like knives. Ray led them to a hill behind his house where an old metal door was hidden under dirt and vines. He unlocked it quickly, revealing a narrow staircase leading underground. It was his old war bunker, untouched for years, dusty, cramped, but safe inside, Ray said. Goro squeezed through the doorway, his large form barely fitting. The twins followed, and Ray closed the door behind them, sealing out the red lights of the drones. Inside the bunker, the air was cool and quiet. A single lantern gave off a soft yellow glow. Goro sat down heavily, holding his wounded side. Ray knelt beside him, examining the injury. It looked burned, scorched by some kind of weapon. Goro winced as Ray touched it gently. "They hurt you badly," Ray said softly. Goro nodded with sad eyes. "Humans want power. I have something they want." Ray looked up, confused. "What do you have?" Goro placed a shaking hand over his chest. A faint glow pulsed under his skin, warm and golden. Inside me, secret, can save worlds. Or destroy. Ray stared stunned. Liam and Lily huddled close together, watching Goro with wide eyes before Ray could ask more. A metallic voice echoed outside the bunker door. "We know you are here," the voice said, calm and cold. Ray's blood ran cold. The hunters had found them, and now they had nowhere else to run. The bunker walls trembled as the hunter's mechanical voice echoed from above. Liam and Lily clung to each other while Goro pressed his huge hands against the metal floor. Shaking with fear, Captain Ray moved quietly, checking the old bunker. Locks, testing each bolt with careful fingers. He knew the hunters were not normal soldiers. They were trained to chase, to capture, to drag creatures alive even if they broke every bone doing it. The lantern flickered softly, casting long shadows on the walls. Ray breathed slowly, trying to think clearly. He had survived battles before, but never with 2 children and a giant. Glowing alien depending on him. One wrong move and this bunker would turn into a metal coffin. But he forced fear down, swallowing it the way he did in the war. Goro whispered shakily, "Ray, please, no give me." To them, his 4 glowing eyes pleaded like a wounded animal begging for mercy. Ray looked at the twins first, then at the trembling alien. His heart felt heavy, heavier than any weapon he ever carried. He whispered back, "I'm not giving you to anyone." The floor shook again as something heavy landed above the bunker. Lily gasped, "Papa, they're on top." Ray pressed a finger to his lips, telling them all to stay silent. Metal claws scratched against the surface, testing for weak spots. A cold voice said, "Thermal scan indicates 3 humans and 1 alien life form beneath." Ray's blood froze. They knew exactly where he was. He turned to Goro, narrowing his eyes. "Listen to me. Why do they want your core so badly?" Goro hugged his arms tighter around himself, glowing faintly. "My core can make new stars," he whispered slowly, "can heal broken planets, or make weapons stronger than suns." Ray's eyes widened. "A power like that would change everything in the galaxy." Goro continued, his voice trembling. "Humans take me to lab. Wanna cut me open. Take core out." Liam's face twisted. In shock. "That's horrible." Goro lowered his head. "They say I'm not alive. Only tool. Only battery." Ray clenched his jaw, fury growing inside him. He had fought in wars for freedom, not for cruelty like this. No creature deserved to be treated like an object, not while he was still breathing. The bunker shook again. Louder this time, the hunters began drilling into the metal, sending sparks raining down the sides. Lily covered her ears, trembling. "Papa, what do we do?" she cried. Ray walked to the back of the bunker where a dusty metal panel covered the wall. "Stay together," Ray said, pulling tools from an old crate. Behind the panel was a hidden tunnel, one Ray built years ago as an emergency escape. It was narrow, dark and cold, but it led deep into the forest mountains. Ray brushed away the dust and kicked open the small hatch. Fresh cold air rushed inside. "We need to move now," Ray ordered. The twins hurried toward the tunnel, but Goro hesitated. His round body trembled at the small tight opening. Too big," Goro whispered sadly. "I get stuck." "You leave me." Ray stepped back and stared him straight in the eyes. "No," Ray said firmly. "We don't leave family." Goro blinked in shock. "Family?" He whispered softly, as if the word hurt and healed him at the same time. Ray took a deep breath. "Get on your side and slide in," he said. "You can make it." Goro hesitated, but Liam and Lily pushed gently against him, encouraging him. "We believe in you," Lily said slowly, shaking. Goro moved toward the tunnel. Above them, the hunter's drill screeched louder, cutting into the main hatch with burning sparks. A metal voice shouted, "You cannot hide the subject. Surrender immediately." Ray ignored the voice and pushed Goro's back. "Move, big guy, move," Ray grunted. Goro squeezed through the narrow tunnel, inch by inch, his glowing patterns flickering with fear. Finally, after a long struggle, his round body slipped into the tunnel fully. Ray sent the twins in next, then he crawled in himself, pulling the hatch shut behind them. The sound of the hunters breaking through the bunker door echoed behind them like distant thunder. Now they moved through the darkness, crawling through the cold dirt tunnel. Goro led the way, scared but determined. The twins crawled right behind him, whispering encouragement. Ray followed last, keeping his flashlight off to avoid detection. The tunnel grew tighter, the air colder, but a faint light appeared at the end. The exit. The forest freedom. When they crawled out into the open night, Ray stood up and breathed deeply. But their relief didn't last long. Above the trees, a second hunter ship appeared, larger and darker than the first. Its sirens echoed across the sky like a morning howl. The hunters weren't giving up. And now the chase was only beginning. The forest was cold and silent as Ray pushed the bushes aside, leading the twins and Goro out of the hidden tunnel. The night sky above them glowed with red lights from the second hunter ship, larger and far more dangerous than the first. It hovered like a giant metal beast, its engines rumbling low like distant thunder. Goro shivered so hard his glowing patterns flickered like candles in the wind. Ray knew this silence was false, a calm just before chaos. "We can't stay here," Ray whispered. He pulled the twins close and checked the shadows for movement. Every crack of a twig felt like a threat. Every breath felt loud. The hunters were close, too close. Goro crouched behind a tree, his wide body pressed tightly against the bark. "I slow you down," he said quietly, shame in his voice. "You leave me." Then safe. Lily quickly stepped in front of him, her small hands on her hips. "No," she said firmly, as if scolding a friend. "You stay with us." Goro blinked, surprised, as though no one had ever said such a thing to him before. Ray glanced at the sky and made a quick plan. "Follow me," he said. "There's an old storage cabin near the river. We'll hide there until the ships pass." They moved through the trees, staying under the darkest branches where moonlight couldn't reach them. Goro tried to stay quiet, but every step he took shook the ground lightly. Ray winced each time, praying the hunters didn't hear. But then the forest filled with the cold hum of drones. Small shapes flew between the trees, their blue lights sweeping from side to side. Searching for movement, Ray pushed everyone down behind a fallen log. A drone hovered only a few meters away, humming like an angry insect. Liam held his breath. Lily squeezed her eyes shut. Goro's whole body shook, the golden glow inside him pulsing faster with fear. Ray slowly placed a hand on Goro's arm and whispered, "Stay calm. Don't glow too bright." The drone paused in midair, turning its sensor toward them. Ray's heart slammed in his chest. If it detected even a small heat signature, they were finished. The drone beeped once, twice, then flew away. Ray finally allowed himself to breathe. They kept moving, but trouble waited around the next bend. As they reached the old cabin near the river, they froze. A full squad of black-armored hunters stood outside the wooden structure, shining, scanning beams through the windows. Ray cursed under his breath. The hunters had reached the cabin before them. "We go other way," Ray whispered quickly. But before they could turn, a hunter soldier stepped out from behind a tree near them. His red visor blinked sharply as he raised his weapon. "Halt!" the soldier ordered. Ray instinctively placed himself in front of the twins. Goro took a step back, whimpering softly. The soldier aimed directly at Ray. "Where is the alien?" he demanded. Ray kept his voice calm, even though fear punched against his ribs. "What alien?" he said. He prayed his poker face from the war was still good enough. The soldier took a step forward. "Your thermal trail leads here," he said coldly. "You are hiding it." Ray didn't blink. "I was out looking for my children," he replied. "They ran into the forest when your ship appeared." "That is all." The soldier hesitated, confused by the normal tone in Ray's voice. Behind Ray, Goro stayed perfectly still. Trying not to breathe loudly, the twins looked up at Ray, trusting him with their whole world. Then, from inside the cabin, another soldier shouted, "Nothing!" "Here, sir." But tracks lead east. The first soldier lowered his weapon slightly. Ray kept his expression neutral. The soldier finally stepped back and said, "We will continue the search. Do not leave the area," and with a flick of his hand, the squad moved to follow the false trail eastward, disappearing into the dark trees. Ray waited until the last red visor vanished behind the branches. Only then did he exhale the breath he had been holding. Goro slumped against a tree, shaking with relief. "You saved me." "Again," he whispered. Ray placed a hand on Goro's arm and said, "Don't thank me yet." "They're not done." The roar of the larger hunter ship suddenly grew louder. Its lights flashed across the river, and then a massive spotlight hit the trees near them. The ship was landing. It was coming down right where they stood. Ray grabbed the twins' hands and shouted, "Run!" Goro moved with them as fast as his heavy body allowed. Behind them, the ground shook as the giant ship touched the forest floor. Dust exploded into the air, and metal plates unfolded with sharp mechanical clicks. The hunters weren't searching anymore. They were surrounding, blocking every path, every escape. Ray didn't know where to go next, but he knew one thing: if he stopped now, his children and Goro would be taken. And that was something he would never allow. The night filled with alarms and flashing lights, and the deadly game of cat and mouse had become a trap closing in fast. Ray had to make a new move, or lose everything. The forest shook as the giant hunter ship landed nearby. Metal plates slammed into the ground, and red lights spread through the trees like burning veins. Ray pulled Liam and Lily behind a thick rock, while Goro tried to hide his huge glowing body behind the roots of an old tree. It was useless. Goro was too big, too bright, too scared, and the hunters were too close. "We can't keep running like this," Ray whispered. His breath was shaky, but his mind moved fast. He had been a soldier once, and an escape was always possible if planned right. But now he had 3 lives to protect, not just his own. That made every step harder, every choice heavier. Goro sat trembling, hugging his arms around his round body. "I slow you." "Again," he whispered sadly. "Better. If I give myself, then hunters leave you." Liam shook his head hard. "No, Goro, you are our friend." Lily nodded fiercely. "And family doesn't leave each other." Goro lowered his head, overwhelmed by their loyalty. He had never known such kindness in all his life. His glowing chest pulsed softly, like a quiet heartbeat of light. Ray glanced at that glow and knew the truth. If the hunters got Goro, they would cut him open for that star core inside him. They would tear him apart without mercy. Ray closed his eyes for a moment, remembering his military days. His ship, his old, dusty, half-broken ship, was still hidden in a hangar near the cliffside. He had not used it in years, but it was their only chance now. "We're going to the hangar," Ray whispered. "We escape this moon tonight." Goro lifted his head, confused. "Escape? How?" Ray gave a small grin. "I still have my old ship." The twins stared at him with wide eyes. "You never told us that." Liam whispered loudly. Ray shrugged. "I hoped I never had to use it again." They started moving through the trees, staying low, avoiding every red beam of light. The hunters' voices echoed through the forest, cold and sharp. "Subject detected. Closing perimeter." Ray pulled Goro behind a fallen tree as drones zipped overhead. The machine scanned the ground, searching for heat, sound, anything alive. Goro's body glowed brighter out of fear. Ray grabbed Goro's wrist and whispered, "Urgently, you must control the glow, or they will find us." Goro shook his head helplessly. "I try, but when scared, core shine more." Lily gently touched Goro's arm. "Just breathe. Like Papa taught us when we're scared." The innocence of her voice cut straight into Goro's heart. He took a slow breath, then another. The glow softened, dimmed, and finally steadied. Ray stared at the little girl in pure admiration. She had calmed a creature bigger than a truck with just a few soft words. They continued moving through the shadows until the trees opened to a rocky slope. At the top of the slope stood an old metal hangar door covered in vines and dust. Ray pushed away the plants with force, revealing a faded symbol on the metal, his old military seal, the past he tried to forget. Now becoming the tool to save them all, Ray placed his hand on the rusty panel. It scanned his palm weakly and gave a tired beep. The door slowly rolled open with a painful screech. Inside, covered in sheets and broken crates, stood Ray's old starship, silver, dented, scratched, but still solid, still real, still theirs. Liam gasped. "It's so cool," Ray smiled. Faintly, "It used to be." Goro stepped inside awkwardly, his huge body barely fitting through the doorway. His glowing chest lit up the dusty hangar interior like a lantern. Ray uncovered the control panel and wiped away the dirt. "Still got power?" he murmured, flipping a few switches. The ship hummed softly, a weak but hopeful sound. "Good. Good. We still have a chance," he whispered. But the moment hope filled the room, an explosion shook the ground outside. The hangar lights flickered. Wildly, a hunter's mechanical voice shouted, "Life signatures detected inside structure." Ray's face hardened. "They found us," he said. Lily grabbed his arm. "Papa, what do we do?" Ray lifted her into the ship, then Liam, "You two buckle up," he said. He turned to Goro next. "Get inside." Now Goro hesitated at the door. "If I enter, core glow more." "They see us," Ray shouted. "They already see us." Goro crawled into the ship, trembling. Ray climbed in after him and slammed the hatch closed. Outside, heavy footsteps approached, shaking the ground. Inside, Ray gripped the controls tightly. "Come on. Come on. Don't die on me now." The engines flickered, coughed, then roared alive with a burst of blue light. The twins cheered. Goro gasped. Ray pulled the lever forward. The ship lifted slowly into the air. But just as they rose above the trees, a massive hunter ship blocked their path, glowing with deadly red lights. The escape had begun, but survival was far from certain. Asterisk, the hunter ship blocking their path looked like a floating fortress. Massive wings spread out like the claws of a metal dragon. Its red lights glowed brighter than the stars, painting the sky with danger. Ray gripped the controls tightly while the ship trembled under his hands. Liam and Lily held onto their seats, eyes wide with fear and excitement. Goro crouched near the back of the ship, shaking so hard the floor vibrated. "They won't let us escape," Ray muttered. He pushed the engine harder, but the hunter ship fired a warning beam. A bright red line shot past Ray's ship like a burning arrow. "We need to move now," Ray whispered urgently. Goro crawled closer, glowing faintly from his chest. "Ray, they want my core." "They not stop." Ray glanced back at him. "Yes, I know. But they'll kill us all to get it." Another warning shot blasted past them, shaking the whole ship. Alarm lights flashed inside, and sparks erupted from the side walls. Lily screamed, covering her ears. Liam hugged her tightly, trying to be brave, but his voice trembled too. "Papa, they're going to hit us," he whispered. Ray turned the ship sharply to dodge another beam. The engines groaned in protest, old and tired like soldiers waking from long sleep. Ray's heart raced. This ship had survived one war already, but could it survive this? The hunter ship opened its lower hatch, revealing heavy weapons. Goro's eyes widened with pure terror. "They bring breaker beams," he whispered. Ray stiffened. Breaker beams didn't just destroy metal. They broke through energy shields, flesh, bone, everything. The hunter's voice echoed from the massive ship. "Surrender the Star Core host," the voice ordered, cold like frozen steel. "This is your final warning." Ray gritted his teeth. "Not happening." He growled. He pushed the engines to maximum, trying to fly into the hunter ship. But the hunters reacted instantly, firing a beam straight into Ray's path. The explosion hit like a giant hammer. The ship spiraled, alarms blaring, metal screaming as they fell. Liam and Lily held each other and cried out. Ray tried to stabilize the ship, but they were dropping fast. Goro slid across the floor, hitting the wall with a painful thud. His glowing chest flared bright gold as fear surged through him. The ship smashed through the treetops and crashed into the forest floor. Metal crumpled, trees shattered, dust exploded everywhere. For a long moment, everything was silent. Only the crackling of broken wires filled the air. Ray lifted his head, slowly cuffing everyone. "Okay," he rasped. The twins groaned but nodded. Goro, however, was lying still, glowing faintly, breathing weakly. "Goro!" Lily cried, running to him. The alien opened his eyes slowly. "I hurt, but alive," he whispered. Ray listened, hearing footsteps approaching from outside. Heavy armored steps, dozens of them. The hunters had landed. "We need to go," Ray said. But the ship was damaged too badly to fly again. The door blasted open with a violent explosion. Hunters poured in like black shadows, weapons aimed, visors glowing red. Ray grabbed a metal bar, ready to fight bare-handed if he had to. Liam and Lily hid behind Goro, trembling. The hunters pointed at Goro, subject. "Do not resist," one commanded. Goro lowered his head, exhausted. "I can't run anymore," he whispered. But Lily grabbed his hand and shouted, "No! You promised you would stay with us." Goro looked at her tiny hand holding his huge finger. Something inside him cracked open. Not fear, not pain, but something powerful and ancient. His chest pulsed with a deeper glow. A golden fire wakened inside him. The hunters moved closer, ready to grab him. "Take the children away," one ordered. Ray exploded with fury and rushed forward, striking one soldier in the helmet. But he was only one man against an army. The moment the hunters grabbed Lily's arm, something inside Goro snapped. A wave of pure golden light burst from his chest, filling the ship with heat and brightness. The hunters were blown backward as if hit by a thunderstorm. Their armor sparked and short-circuited, shutting down instantly. Ray shielded the twins. As the light washed over them without harm, the entire forest outside lit up like dawn. Even the giant hunter ship shook as the shockwave reached it. Goro slowly stood up, glowing brighter than ever before. His round body no longer weak, his eyes burning with fierce energy. The hunters tried to stand, but their armor was dead, their weapons lifeless, their ship losing power and sinking into the trees. Goro stepped forward, breathing deeply. "I not tool. I not battery. I protector," he said in clear, strong English. His voice thundered through the forest. Ray stared at him in awe. The twins looked up at Goro like he was a hero from a legend. But the danger wasn't over, because far above them, hidden behind clouds, a third, even larger ship activated. A ship Goro recognized instantly. His glowing light dimmed with fear. "Them," he whispered. "They come now. The ones who created hunters. The ones who want whole worlds." Ray tightened his fists. This battle was far from over. And now, a new and even greater enemy was arriving. The real fight was just beginning. The sky opened like a giant dark door as the third ship slowly descended. It was bigger than the other hunter ships combined. Its shadow covered the forest, the river. Even the broken hangar behind Ray's crashed. Ship, red lightning crackled around its wings, and a deep engine roar shook leaves from trees. Ray felt the air tighten, like the world itself was holding its breath. Goro stepped forward, his glowing chest slowly dimming as fear crept back into him. "That ship belongs to Masters," he whispered. Ray frowned. "Masters?" Goro nodded weakly. "They create hunters. They lead labs. They want my core for weapon bigger than suns." Liam and Lily stood on each side of Goro, holding his hands. "You're not going back to them," Lily said firmly. "Never," Liam added. Goro looked down at the twins with shaking eyes. No creature ever protect me like this. He whispered softly, "You make me strong. But masters make whole world afraid." Ray tightened his grip on a metal pipe he had taken from the wreckage. He wasn't sure what he was going to do with it, but he would not let anyone take his children or Goro. Not while he was still breathing. The giant ship landed with a crushing boom. Turning the ground into cracked stone, a ramp unfolded slowly, releasing bright white steam like a rising ghost. From the fog stepped tall figures in long black armor with glowing bones carved into the plates. Their leader walked in front, wearing a mask shaped like a star exploding outward. His voice was deep and cold. "Return the Star Core host to us," he commanded, "and your deaths will be painless." Ray moved in front of Goro. "You're not taking him," he said. The leader tilted his head like studying an insect. "You are human. You do not understand the value of what you protect." Ray didn't move. "Maybe not. But I understand family," he said. Goro stepped forward and shook his head. "No, Ray. They want me. Not you." His glowing chest pulsed nervously as he whispered, "I go. Then you safe." Ray reached out and grabbed Goro's arm, stopping him. "Listen to me," Ray said quietly. "They won't stop with you. They will take worlds, planets, children. Everything." Goro froze at the word children. He looked at Liam and Lily clinging to him. His heart cracked open in a way he had never felt before. He finally understood. Running was not saving. Fighting was the only way to protect the ones who loved him. The masters raised their staffs, and the ground glowed red beneath them. Energy swirled like a storm, preparing to strike. Ray pulled the twins back. "Goro, whatever you're going to do it now," he said. Goro stepped forward slowly. The air around him shimmered as his glowing chest began to brighten again. Gold light leaked from his skin, stronger and warmer than before. The ground vibrated as if the earth recognized the star core within him. One of the masters shouted, "Contain him before ignition." But it was too late. Goro lifted his head, eyes glowing like molten suns. "I am not your tool," he roared. "I am Starborn, and I protect my family." He slammed his hands into the ground. A massive shockwave of golden light exploded. Outward, trees bent, stones cracked, hunters flew backward like broken dolls. The master's staff shattered in their hands, sparks flying everywhere. Ray shielded the twins as the warm light rushed past them harmlessly. The giant ship behind the masters shook violently. Its engines exploded one by one. Golden cracks spread across its hull like glowing veins until the ship tore open with a blinding flash. A storm of golden fire burst into the sky. The masters were thrown back into the wreckage, defeated, broken, and powerless. When the light slowly faded, the forest fell quiet again. Smoke drifted through the air, mixing with glowing dust like tiny stars. Goro stood in the center of the clearing, breathing heavily. His glowing chest dimmed back to soft light. His body shook, weak but alive. Ray rushed to him. "Goro, are you okay?" Goro smiled weakly. "Yes, but Core very tired." He looked down at the twins as they hugged his massive arm. "You safe? That make me happy." Ray placed a hand on Goro's shoulder. "You saved us. You saved everyone." Goro looked at him with soft glowing eyes. "No. We save each other," he said. The forest wind picked up gently, moving through the trees like a calm sigh after a storm. Goro looked at the sky. "More ships may come," he warned softly. Ray nodded. "Then we'll face them together." Goro smiled. "Yes, together," he whispered, and as the twins hugged him tightly, Goro realized he finally had something stronger than any star core. A family, and he would protect them until his last breath. The war was not over.